Welcome to my December recap. This recap will be pretty short. I don't really have much to say. I guess December is really a time for relaxation, holidays, especially if you're overseas. It's gonna be really cold and cozy. It's not the case here in Singapore, but I do feel so lethargic. I'm also having a big job change coming up soon, so I've been pretty busy. Just really thinking about life and what I want to do next. The resistance to making videos have also become a bit more prevalent for me in this month. After a whole year of committing to 2 videos per week, I actually missed 1 week last week. And so I'm just thinking about how much I want to dial back, if I want to dial back at all, because I'm afraid I'll be losing that momentum. That's the case for my meditation practice as well. But enough rambling, let me get into the coffee supporters I had this month. I want to thank these people. Share a Little Happiness Didi, thank you so much, you're so kind. There was an anonymous supporter as well. Laura Zimmerman, thank you so much for your contribution, you're really kind. And of course Linda, who also bought a reading from me. Thank you so much, guys. This month I used a few decks. I want to talk about the decks I used and my experiences with them. If you're at all interested in the decks I use on a daily basis, feel free to follow my Boy Diviner Instagram, because that's where I usually just post what I read for myself that day. And sometimes it can also be resonant with other people, because it tends to be more of a general kind of reading, unless something really is specific to my life. But to be honest, I haven't been keeping up with my daily readings as well. I've slowed down a bit. Like I mentioned, December has been so lethargic for some reason. Could it be the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction? I have no idea. In any case, the deck I used a lot in December is actually the Lost Holo Tarot. And I'm sure you guys have already seen this. It's already in my top 5 for this year that was released. I also used the Stellar Tarot, which is one of my favorites, my top 10 decks of 2020. And I also used the Amano Tarot, because this is a really new deck to me and I really like it. I hope you guys check out the walkthrough as well. Any thoughts? I don't really have any thoughts about using these decks. Sometimes I don't know if it's a progression thing. The more I use decks, the more it feels like even though some of the imagery does make a difference, there's a lot of times when I just fall back on the meaning that I'm comfortable with, and I don't know if that's right or wrong. I wanted to do a advice video for all readers, including myself, because I keep torturing my mind with such thoughts and I keep telling myself to let go. So I'm hoping to do a soothing video just to tell myself and remind myself and other readers that it's okay, that things are okay, you don't have to stress yourself out. That said, I do enjoy these 3 decks a lot, and I find that they all have a different voice, even though I just mentioned about how meanings tend to be the same because I fall back on them. I think that applies most to pip decks, because they're pips, and falling back on the RWS meanings are the easiest thing for me to do. But I'm trying my best to also incorporate how the pips are being displayed. So you just saw the 9 of Cups. That one is a perfect square, so I want to read it more as a perfection kind of reading, like a perfect happiness, perfect emotion. So that could be a bit different from the RWS meaning, where a guy is like smiling happily with 9 cups behind him. That is what I'm hoping to do. So I try to push myself every time I do a reading, but sometimes it can be tiring, and like I mentioned, in December I didn't really have that energy to do that. Plus I'm a bit addicted to Genshin Impact, and this light novel I'm reading, it's crazy. Light novels are so addictive, even though it's reading, and I've been so behind on all the other reading I want to do. I wanted to read so many books actually this month, and I just didn't get to them. Hopefully soon, hopefully today I'm going to try to make a few more pages for the book I'm reading. I think right now I'm trying to focus on the first 90 days. And I also got more Gallery of Magic books like the Angels of Wrath. I'm just wanting to explore that as well. Decks that interested me this month, there were 3 decks in particular that interested me. I am not buying them yet. I just wanted to share them because I always add things to my wish list, and these were the 3 that I added. The first one is the Denizens of Earth Tarot. The Denizens of Earth Tarot. That is so hard to pronounce. I try and struggle. If you notice a cut, it's because I repeated that word like 5 times. It's a really earthy deck. It's a really interesting deck where there are like amalgamations of animal and man, and a lot of nature-based kind of imagery. It is not typically the type of deck I like. I don't really have such a deck, and that's why I feel like it can It can fill a hole in my collection. At the same time, do I use decks like that? I don't know. It just intrigues me, and so I just thought I'll mention it and added it to my wish list. I haven't actually looked at the full walkthrough of that deck online or listened or heard about their cardstock. I'm afraid the cardstock will be Rose Petal, which is scary for me because of many reasons, but later I'll talk about that again because I bought another Rose Petal finish deck. Another deck that intrigued me was the Da Vinci Enigma Tarot. I thought that one would be coming out again. I had this impression that it was going to be re-released, but doing a quick search, it doesn't seem like it. I'm not sure, I'm confused. Maybe it is, maybe I lost, maybe I didn't jump on the train fast enough. Leonardo da Vinci is a great artist. He is so famous, he has such great thoughts. I think having a tarot deck centered around his drawings, even if you use it as an oracle deck, it'll be really interesting. I like that concept. And so I put it on my wish list, but it's not something I'm gonna get anytime soon. The next one is the Tarot Illuminati. I think I watched Tarot Vibes Oracle and she talked about the Tarot Illuminati. It was a deck that I never considered because it was so flashy. I don't tend towards flashy decks. I tend towards more understated decks. But I also realized that bright colors, vibrant colors, and some flashiness does help my readings because it does push it to the next level. So I don't know, it's on my wish list now. I don't know how I feel about it, but it makes me feel something for sure. I just don't know whether I like it or I dislike it, or you know, I don't know, it intrigues me because I feel like I don't like the aesthetic, but if I do get it, I feel like it'll be a great reader. That being said, all these 3 decks interest me, but I'm not getting them as of yet because I have so many decks coming up. I'm seriously again considering a depth year for next year 2021 because when I'm looking at like my top 5 tarot decks, I can pick top 5, but then I stretched myself to pick a top 10 tarot deck list for 2020. It was a struggle. It was a struggle to pick like the last 2 decks because they are not decks that I use often, and there are no decks that everything felt like they were equal after the first 8. So this reminds me again about how I'm actually getting a lot of decks that could be in my top 8, and yet at the same time they just fall by the wayside and I don't explore them enough or I don't like them enough overall in the end. I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on with my thought process when I buy decks now. 2020 has been tough and I suspect 2021 is going to be worse. So we'll see. I don't want to again set myself rules that are too tough. I aimed for 5 decks maximum and then it stretched to another 5 and then I just went crazy. So I want to really think about it. I really want to think about how I want to set rules for next year. I know people hate rules, some of you do. Just know that this is for me to cope for my lifestyle. Singapore is not a cheap place to live in. I'm still living with my parents, and if I were to buy an apartment, I do need to save up. A 3 or 4 room apartment in Singapore can cost up to 600,000 SGD. I guess that's about 400,000 USD, and it's not a small sum of money for me. So even decks that cost like 60 USD, that could go to my house instead. And you know, I need to really think about what I'm aiming for in life. Decks that I'm receiving this month in December, hopefully soon. I bought them and I think they actually reached my mail forwarder this month. USPS was slow in delivering the Gothmancy to me in my mail forwarder, so I had to wait for that. It just arrived at my mail forwarder like a few days ago, and so I consolidated that with the Brady Tarot. So last month I talked about how the Brady Tarot was actually the top of my animal deck wish list, and because of, I think that was a sale, that was a Black Friday sale, so I just decided I'm gonna just get it, you know, I'm just gonna get it. And so they have arrived at my mail forwarder and now they're on the way from the US to me. Hopefully I'll get them in the first week of January. Other decks I'm waiting upon are the Blood Moon Tarot. The Blood Moon Tarot, which is going to be shipped out in late January apparently. We don't know, let's see. And there's also the Lubanko Tarot that I'm waiting on. All these decks, I feel like they're so beautiful, they're so great. Maybe I really shouldn't buy too many decks next year. So let me know what you think. Is it crazy to have to attempt another depth year after you failed in 2020? Is it too much? I know a lot of people now, they're like, if you have the money, why don't you get it? Yeah, so I don't know. I've been struggling also thinking about whether I want to make another channel about productivity, about what goes in my mind when I think about money, or how I budget my expenses, especially in Singapore. That's another topic that has been weighing on my mind because it's something I'm interested in, and I thought it would be good for me because forcing yourself to create content that is thoughtful like that really consolidates how you think and approach things. And right now, I don't think I'm doing enough of that. Like with my job change, why did I do that? I needed to put it down into words, and what do I really value in life? Why am I moving? Things like that. All these thoughts come to me. I realize something and I forget it because I don't put it down on paper. Or even if I do, I think at least a video format will be up there, and then people can actually discuss with me about my thoughts, and then we can see and I can improve. I've been thinking about that for the longest time, but I'm still holding back because I don't have much time. I want to focus on this channel as well. But yeah, these are just some thoughts I had in December. Crazy thoughts. And Happy New Year, happy holidays. I hope you guys have a great rest of the day and you take care. Bye.